Bron Breakker attacks Paul Heyman and quits the Vision. The WWE needs to fix Smackdown ASAP. Holland's situation takes a turn for the worst after WWE firing. Jade Cargill is still too green for a WWE title. CM Punk is in huge trouble. CM Punk collapsed after Raw. Bronson Reed shares a crucial detail. Nick Khan forced to address a major WWE controversy. WWE has made big mistakes with the Wyatt Sicks on SmackDown. The Rock's return is upon us. Let's dive right in. The WWE needs to fix Smackdown ASAP. After reportedly disappointing ticket sales for Friday's episode of SmackDown, WWE received another unfortunate update. A new report suggests that ticket sales weren't the only thing that went down from the show in Salt Lake City, Utah. According to Fightful Select, the company was unhappy with the low number of ticket sales for SmackDown last Friday. It led to many getting moved down to the lower levels, with the upper deck being tarped off. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer added misery to WWE by revealing that Friday's blue-branded show drew just around 933,000 viewers on the USA Network. It was down from last week's 1,024,000 viewers. It's the lowest rating ever for a non-preempted SmackDown show in WWE history, as per the People's Wrestling website. Compared to the same week from the past 2 years, it was lower since the November 1st, 2024 episode drew 1,428,000 viewers on the USA Network, and the November 3rd, 2023 episode drew 2,119,000 viewers on FOX Sports. To be fair, SmackDown went up against some heavy hitters last Friday, including Game 6 of the World Series between the LA Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays, the TV show Sheriff County, and the North Carolina vs. Syracuse matchup in college football. WWE SmackDown has been one of the major focus points of the company and has turned out to deliver some of the most intriguing rivalries and matches in recent memory. The Blue brand has some of the biggest names in the entire industry, but their ratings have been taking a major fall lately. After months of dominance in the industry, the Blue brand ratings have taken a major dip, with last week's show hitting a record low. Considering the downfall, WWE needs to get things back on track and revamp the entire brand. Let's check out a few things the company must do to get the ratings back on track. Number 1. Push Randy Orton to the moon. Randy Orton's legacy is firmly established, yet SmackDown hasn't fully leveraged his star power in recent months. The Viper has not been given a lot of time on the show, while fans have been waiting for him to turn heel and take over the entire roster by making his star power felt in the main event scene. Giving him a major push on the Blue brand could be one of the first things the company should do to bring things back on track and give fans what they want. Number 2. Revamp the women's division and bring back Bianca Belair. The women's division on SmackDown has lacked long-term storylines and clear challengers, which has made a major contribution to the downfall. Bringing the likes of Bianca Belair back on TV could be the beginning of the brand reviving from the downturn. Further, this would lead to fresher storylines and matches, which could be very vital in bringing the viewership numbers back on track. A few surprise returns could be the perfect way to get the fans attracted to the women's division once again. Number 3. Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown as a heel. Since the end of the Bloodline story, SmackDown has never been able to get the popularity back to the same level. Roman Reigns moved to the Red brand after the company's deal with Netflix kicked off, worsening things for SmackDown. With the likes of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and many more top men on the Red brand, the Nick Aldis-managed show has started lacking star power. The OTC potentially returning to the Blue brand could do the job altogether. Bringing the viewership back on track and giving fans some massive storylines, Reigns' return could be the turning point for the brand. Number 4. Cody Rhodes loses his WWE title to Drew McIntyre, putting an end to his push. Ending the reign of Cody Rhodes would signal high stakes and unpredictability for SmackDown's future. With fans rallying behind Drew McIntyre to win the undisputed WWE Championship, the company could capitalize on the opportunity and give fans what they want. Rhodes could potentially lose the title to Drew at Survivor Series, which could attract millions around the world once again, bringing the viewership numbers back on track. Time will tell what WWE has in store for the stars next. Holland's situation takes a turn for the worst after WWE firing. Things have officially gone from bad to worse for Holland, real name Luke Menzies, as new details reveal WWE has terminated his contract early, leaving the injured star in an even more precarious position. According to Fightful Select, WWE sources confirmed that Menzies' deal was cut short after the company allegedly deemed his recent public statements a breach of contract. Holland had posted emotionally raw messages detailing how he's been unpaid for while recovering from a serious injury suffered on the job. Now WWE has reportedly decided to part ways before the original expiration date of mid-November. The early termination not only ends any hopes of financial support from WWE through the rest of his recovery, it also marks a rare shift in company practice. Historically, WWE has not released talent still in long-term medical recovery, but this is reportedly not the first time in the past year that such a decision has been made. Holland, who sustained a neck injury on September 27th, is expected to be out of action until well into 2026. Now, with 7 months of healing still ahead, he's been released, and it strongly suggests that WWE has no plans to pay him for the remainder of his original deal. While WWE is still required to continue covering his rehab expenses, Holland had already revealed the financial strain he's under, saying in a previous post, post, "I never thought I'd not be able to pay my mortgage. I feel like I've just been hung out to dry after getting injured working for another company on behalf of WWE." He also noted he wasn't paid anything extra for his TNA appearance, which is where the injury occurred. For fans, this update is a heartbreaking reality check about what can happen when a wrestling career is derailed by injury, especially under a corporate machine that appears increasingly willing to sever ties before healing is complete. How do you feel about WWE cutting Ridge Holland loose during recovery? Jade Cargill is still too green for a WWE title. Jade Cargill recently became the WWE Women's Champion for the first time by beating Tiffany Stratton at Saturday night's main event. Wrestling legend and AAA Hall of Famer Conan shared his thoughts on Cargill's title win. He stated that the Storm is not ready to be champion. Jade won the Queen of the Ring tournament this year at the Night of Champions Premium Live event in Saudi Arabia. She squared off against Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam for the WWE Women's Championship, but came up short. Conan shared his discontent with Jade's championship win on his Keeping It 100 official podcast. He stated that WWE shouldn't give someone the championship only because they're over with fans. She looks like a star, but she's not championship material yet. She needs to be able to lead people. It's like when Liv Morgan first got the championship, I was burying them. She's too green. Why did they give it to her? She's not ready. Then the second time they gave it to her, she was ready. She can lead people in a match. She cuts good promos. You don't just give it to somebody because they're over, he said. It will be interesting to see what's next for Jade Cargill, as she is now the WWE Women's Champion. Jade Cargill has been heavily featured on WWE programming ever since she joined the promotion a few years ago. Fans were shocked when Triple H decided to turn the Storm into a heel on SmackDown a few weeks ago. Tiffany Stratton faced Kiana James a few weeks ago on SmackDown. After the match, she was attacked by the Women's United States Champion Julia. Jade came out to save the buff Barbie but ended up turning on her. She laid out Stratton in the middle of the ring, officially turning heel. Now that Jade is a heel in WWE and also hold the most prestigious title on SmackDown, fans are excited to see her in the coming weeks. CM Punk is in huge trouble. CM Punk's first night as World Heavyweight Champion didn't end well, as he was taken out by Logan Paul, who seemingly aligned with the Vision. However, things might turn even worse for the Second City Saint in the coming weeks. The list of enemies may grow even longer for Punk now that he holds the top prize of the red brand. However, he has very few allies left that could stand beside him in battle. On Raw, Jey Uso stepped up to help Punk against the Vision, as they teamed up to take on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed in a tag team match. Before the bout, Paul Heyman confronted the Yeet Master backstage, trying to get into Jay's head. The former Wiseman may have succeeded, as after what happened in the main event, Jey Uso could soon turn his back on CM Punk. The tag team bout ended in a double countout, after both teams prioritized inflicting punishment on their opponents over the rules of the match. The Vision duo got the upper hand in the brawl, as they targeted main event Jay in the ring. Both Reed and Breakker hit their respective finishers on the Yeet Master, leaving him incapacitated. Punk came to his aid with a steel chair, but the damage was already done. Failing to win the World Heavyweight Championship and getting taken out by the Vision in the span of a couple of days may finally push Jay over the edge. Add Heyman's interaction to this, and the Yeet Master could finally snap and embrace the dark side. Let's talk about how casually Uso and Heyman were chatting in the locker room. After everything the Vision has done to Jey Uso in recent months, it was surprising and almost unsettling how calm their conversation was. Granted, they share a lot of history as part of the bloodline, but those days are long gone, and the Oracle has proven that his loyalty lies with no one but himself. Paul Heyman not only warned Jay about not going against the Vision, but also subtly invited the former World Heavyweight Champion to join the faction and turn on the Second City Saint. If we factor in Jay's recent attitude, things aren't looking good for CM Punk, who likely thinks of the Yeet Master as an ally. While main event Jay may have been acting differently lately, he's far from fully turning evil. That said, Jay has tried everything he could so far, but hasn't been able to find the success he desires. Therefore, he may be compelled to shake hands with the devil and join the Vision out of frustration. If you can't beat him, join him. And that's exactly what the Yeet Master could do with the Vision. This may leave CM Punk in huge trouble, as he would be on his own against the heel faction. Survivor Series, War Games is coming up, and the way things are going, the Second City Saint may have a hard time finding allies to fight the villainous alliance in a potential War Games match. CM Punk opened this week's Raw, celebrating his title win at Saturday night's main event last weekend. The Second City Saint name-dropped several potential challengers he would like to face, including John Cena. Punk invited his longtime rival to try and become an 18-time world champion before retiring. Interestingly, a recent report from Fightful Select suggested that there have been discussions about crowning Cena as champion once again. The Cenation leader will make his last appearance in his hometown of Boston, Massachusetts next week, which could be the perfect stage for a potential John Cena versus CM Punk match for the World Heavyweight Championship. That said, nothing has been confirmed as of now. CM Punk collapsed after Raw. CM Punk needed help after WWE Raw went off the air as the show came to an end. An unfortunate twist meant that things did not quite go his way during the show. The star was left hurt. CM Punk was facing down Paul Heyman's The Vision, with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed looking to take him out after they had already taken out Jey Uso earlier. He had a steel chair, but it was Logan Paul's arrival that seemed to be one of the better turns of fate, as the star had the brass knuckles on and seemed to be siding with him. Unfortunately for the star, it did not quite work out that way. Paul decided to betray CM Punk at the last moment yet again, and hit him across the jaw with the brass knuckles, knocking him out. They celebrated over him before leaving, having achieved what they wanted to in that moment. The star's collapse was the last thing seen before the show went off the air. In a video video that has now emerged about what happened after Raw, Punk is seen getting help from Jey Uso and the referees. He had no clue what had happened, and as he was getting his facilities back, Uso explained that Paul had the brass knuckles. He was holding his jaw as well, clearly hurt in the moment. He had the brass knuckles on use. He had the gimmick on. After the show was off the air, Jey Uso helped Punk to the back. Even though fans were expecting a heel turn from Uso after he lost the World Heavyweight title shot to Punk at Saturday night's main event, that did not happen, and he stayed at the side of Punk instead. It remains to be seen how their friendship works out over the coming weeks. Nick Khan forced to address a major WWE controversy. WWE President Nick Khan has addressed one of the major issues being discussed by people online about the company. Khan was forced to speak about the controversy as part of TKO's earnings call for the third quarter of the year. Under TKO, WWE reduced the number of live events, which helped the talent feel rejuvenated and kept them healthier. However, the ticket prices are soaring, and it has been one of the gripes of many fans on social media, as well as other wrestling veterans who thought that the regular people are getting priced out. Speaking on TKO's earnings call on Wednesday, Nick Khan addressed the issue of expensive tickets. It's all about scarcity of the product, creating a demand, which explains the increase of ticket prices. It's tied into the reduction of live events as part of the TKO's plan when it acquired WWE. A couple of years ago when TKO was put up, one of the first things we collectively did was reduce the non-televised live events, which created more scarcity in the marketplace for our televised events, and our continued international expansion only furthered that. In January, you'll see us on a European tour for Raw and Smackdown, leading into Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Tickets already on fire for that event, and it creates more scarcity in the United States, which is a good thing in terms of our overall gauge, Khan said. Former Tough Enough winner Maven was asked at a recent appearance on TMZ Sports Inside the Ring about the rising ticket costs to go to a show these days. He wasn't happy with WWE because longtime fans are getting priced out, which led to him bringing up Vince McMahon. It's one of the things that angers me the most. You can say what you want about Vince McMahon. Vince knew that the everyday family was where his bread was buttered. He knew that in order to create generational fans, he was going to have to make his product accessible. Accessible on a weekly basis, accessible on a monthly basis at an affordable rate. They're pricing out loyal fans, Maven said. WWE recently had a problem with selling out tickets on the October 31st episode of Smackdown in Salt Lake City, Utah. It reportedly created an air of disappointment within the company. WWE has made big mistakes with the Wyatt Sicks on SmackDown. Since their WWE debut, the Wyatt Sicks were expected to take over the entire roster with their dominance, something Bray Wyatt did with his faction, the Wyatt family. Fans hoped the Uncle Howdy-led faction to do something similar and generate compelling storylines. However, the group has felt underutilized despite strong fan intrigue and haunting visuals. WWE has seemingly missed some big opportunities and has ended up ruining the entire concept of the faction, which could be one of the major reasons for the massive decline in the SmackDown ratings as well. Let's check out a few mistakes the company made with the faction. Nikki Cross was once one of the most unpredictable and exciting women on the roster, but since joining the Wyatt Sicks, her in-ring career has stalled. The star has been used primarily for eerie vignettes and backstage segments instead of in-ring action, which could be seen as a massive flaw in the entire Wyatt Sicks booking. WWE's creative team seemingly has no plans to let her wrestle, despite her history of delivering thrilling performances. Keeping her sidelined from the ring could be a big mistake considering the current situation and the plans for the faction. For a faction that once sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, the Wyatt Sicks' absence from premium live events has been another massive issue. Their appearances have been limited to brief backstage segments or dark promos rather than high-profile matches. This has led to the company featuring the faction majorly on the weekly shows, which has not allowed the faction to absorb the spotlight they deserve. Without a few big PLE moments, the Wyatt Sicks won't be able to take over the roster. Uncle Howdy's mystique has been one of the faction's most intriguing elements, but WWE has yet to explore the story. Since their debut, Howdy's backstage segments have turned out to be incredible, but keeping him out of the ring doesn't make sense to any of it. The leader of the faction needs to make his presence felt in the squared circle to make headlines around the globe and lead the Wyatt Sicks to glory on the blue brand. Eric Rowan has made a career as one of the dominant in-ring names in the industry. The star, during his time in the Wyatt family, was portrayed as a powerhouse, which was one of the major reasons for the faction's success. However, since his return as a part of the Wyatt Sicks, the star has not been featured as the dominant name he is, which is another major reason for the failure of the entire faction. Perhaps the biggest missed opportunity has been WWE's decision to keep Alexa Bliss away from the Wyatt Sicks. Not only that, but adding no new members to the faction has turned out to be a massive flaw in its own, with the company ending up missing the opportunity to take the faction to the top. With no intriguing stories and no new members, the faction won't be able to survive as a major name in the industry for long. Time will tell what WWE has in store for the star next. The Rock's return is upon us. According to WWE champion Cody Rhodes, the fans are yet to see more of The Rock, aka Thaw Final Boss. This comes as a massive revelation from Cody, as The Rock hasn't made any appearance for the past 8 months. After leading a heel turn for Cena at Elimination Chamber 2025, he vanished and didn't appear even at WrestleMania 41. However, Cody Rhodes has said that what we have seen so far from The Rock as a heel is just the surface. There could be more from The Rock which the fans could witness. He came back to a very tumultuous WWE year or so ago and decided, no, I'm not going to deal with. Instead, I'm going to create a new character even though I'm already one of the greatest characters ever. that being the final boss, and we've just scratched the surface on the final boss. There's something incredibly special there, Cody Rhodes said on All the Smoke podcast recently. While we don't exactly know what the American Nightmare actually means here, we can speculate what he is indicating. It could involve The Rock facing a few big names for his epic retirement match, which could take place at WrestleMania. The first name is obviously Cody Rhodes. There wouldn't be a better opponent for the WWE champion at WrestleMania next year than The Rock. It could be the retirement match for the final boss, in which he can put over Cody and then announce his retirement. That would also be a babyface turn for the Brahma Bull, after playing a heel for the past 1.5 years. The Rock and Roman Reigns match is something that every WWE fan wants to witness. In fact, Rock returned last year in January only to have a match against Roman Reigns, but that came at the cost of him replacing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. The fans vehemently protested this booking, and the creative team pivoted from this point. Rock turned heel and joined forces with Roman Reigns in the battle against Cody Rhodes. However, times have changed now. Roman Reigns is a babyface, while The Rock is still a heel. A clash can happen at Mania next year. The two can lock horns in a final match, and the final boss can put over Reigns. He can then announce his subsequent retirement from in-ring wrestling thereafter. Drew McIntyre could also be an opponent The Rock could face at Mania next year. In fact, the Scottish Warrior is also in the good books of The Rock as one of the most talented superstars in the roster. Last year, it was The Rock who had sent a Scottish Claymore sword gift to McIntyre, along with a new WWE contract. Being one of the members of the board of directors of the TKO group, Rock has all the faith in Drew McIntyre. Therefore, there are chances that he can face McIntyre in an epic clash at Mania next year and put him over, ultimately passing the torch to him. It now remains to be seen how WWE books The Rock's return to the company. Bron Breakker attacks Paul Heyman and quits the Vision. Bron Breakker has been overseeing the functions of the Vision ever since ousting Seth Rollins from the faction. He has quietly taken over the group under Paul Heyman's guidance and has been orchestrating every move. However, this week on Raw, fans saw a major thing unfold when Logan Paul proved his allegiance toward Heyman, teasing an alliance with the Vision. Since then, speculation has been swirling that Breakker could quit the faction. The 28-year-old didn't seem much intrigued with the idea of Paul Heyman taking in the Maverick. He could be reluctant to accept Logan Paul, and doubts may have started to creep into his mind regarding Heyman's actions as well. As a result, fans believe that Bron Breakker could turn on the Wiseman. However, the chances of it happening are very low. WWE has been building Breakker as a future star of the company, and his association with Paul Heyman is crucial to reaching the pinnacle of this industry. The creative team detaching him from the Hall of Famer at this point seems far-fetched, as things have been sailing smoothly on Monday Night Raw. Besides, the Vision recently saw an uprising when its former leader was deceitfully kicked out of the group. At a stage when it needs a major footing, Bron Breakker's leaving the faction would cripple its backbone, leaving only remnants of it. Hence, WWE is unlikely to pull off such a move. It will be interesting to see how things shape up on Raw, following the recent events. Ever since Seth Rollins was kicked out, there has been a conspicuous void within the Vision. The situation has been screaming for the addition of new members to the group. Survivor Series is around the corner, and rumors suggest that the Vision could be in the men's War Games match this year. Even if Logan Paul joins the heel team by pairing with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, there would still be two voids to be filled. Considering that Brock Lesnar will be one of the members in the heel team in the men's War Games this year, Paul Heyman's boys would still require one more man. There is a good possibility that Breakker could introduce a new member of the Vision in the coming weeks ahead of Survivor Series. Rumors have been swirling that it could be Austin Theory. WWE might not delay this move any further as the annual spectacle is just around the corner. Therefore, Bron Breakker could shock the world next week or the week after that by revealing a new member of their faction. This is currently speculation, but the chances of it happening are fairly high. Only time will tell what happens.